The ultimatum, Captain. Sarah Chen floated weightlessly in the observation deck of the exploration vessel Pioneer's Dream, watching the stars shimmer through the reinforced viewport. 3 months into their deep space mission beyond the Centauri system, her crew of 42 had discovered 17 new worlds, 3 of which showed signs of primitive life. It was the kind of mission that made her proud to be human, pushing boundaries that previous generations could only dream of reaching. The soft hum of the ship's engines created a peaceful backdrop as Sarah reviewed the day's reports on her tablet. Dr. Marcus Webb had catalogued another fascinating species of crystalline organisms on the 4th planet they had surveyed. Engineer Rosa Petrov had successfully upgraded their quantum drive efficiency by 12%. Lieutenant Alex Rivera had maintained perfect communication links with Earth despite being over 40 light-years away. Everything was proceeding according to plan. A sudden alarm shattered the tranquility. Sarah pushed off the viewport and glided quickly toward the bridge, her magnetic boots clicking into place as she entered the artificial gravity field. The bridge was bathed in red emergency lighting, and her crew was already at their stations. "Report," Sarah commanded as she settled. Into her captain's chair, Lieutenant Rivera looked up from his console, his face pale. "Captain, we have multiple contacts approaching from Vector 7-7-Mark-4. They appeared on our sensors 30 seconds ago." "How many ships?" Sarah asked, studying the tactical display. 15 confirmed vessels, Captain. They're massive. Each one at least 5 times our size. Their technology is unlike anything in our databases." Dr. Webb leaned forward from his science station. "Captain, the energy signatures are extraordinary. These ships are using power sources that exceed our theoretical maximums by orders of magnitude." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. Humanity had always wondered if they would eventually encounter other intelligent species. First contact protocols had been established. Diplomatic procedures had been rehearsed. But seeing those massive shapes on the screen made everything feel suddenly real and dangerous. "Distance and approach speed," she asked. 2 million kilometers, and closing at 0.7 light speed. "At current velocity, they'll intercept us in 14 minutes, Rivera reported. Sarah activated the ship's internal communication system. "All hands, this is the captain. We are about to make first contact with an alien species. All personnel are to remain at stations and follow established protocols. This is a historic moment for humanity." The massive alien vessels decelerated smoothly and took positions surrounding the Pioneer's Dream. Each ship was a work of dark artistry, with flowing curves and surfaces that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Strange symbols pulsed with violet energy along their hulls. "Captain, they're transmitting," Rivera announced. "The signal is incredibly complex, but our computer is attempting translation." Within moments, a deep, resonant voice filled the bridge. The translation software had processed the alien language and converted it to English, though the tone remained unmistakably authoritative and cold. "Primitive vessel, you will power down your engines and prepare for boarding. I am Commander Zik of the Dominion Empire. Your species has been evaluated and found suitable for integration into our civilization." Sarah exchanged glances with her crew. Dr. Webb raised his eyebrows in concern, while Rivera's hand hovered over the communication controls. Engineer Petrov had already begun running diagnostics on their defensive systems. "Open a channel," Sarah ordered. "Channel open, Captain." Sarah stood and faced the main screen, where the largest alien vessel dominated the view. "Commander Zixthrak, This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth vessel Pioneer's Dream. We greet you in peace and friendship. We are explorers from the planet Earth, seeking knowledge and understanding of the universe. The alien response came quickly. Your peaceful intentions are irrelevant, human. The Dominion Empire has observed your species for several rotations. You possess adequate intelligence and adaptability. You will be incorporated into our civilization as a client race. Client race? Sarah asked, though she suspected she already knew what that meant. Your species will serve the Empire's needs. Your worlds will provide resources and labor. Your most capable individuals will be selected for specialized training. Resistance is neither expected nor tolerated. Dr. Webb stepped forward. Captain, if I may. Sarah nodded, and Webb activated his console. Commander Zixtrak, we appreciate your interest in humanity. However, we must respectfully decline your offer. We are a free species, and we intend to remain so. A sound that might have been laughter echoed through the communication system. Free. Your concept of freedom is an illusion, scientist. We have incorporated 47 species into our empire. Each initially claimed to value their freedom above all else. Each eventually understood that service to the empire provides security, purpose, and advancement beyond what they could achieve alone. Sarah felt anger building in her chest, and if a species chooses to remain independent, then they cease to exist, Zixtrak replied matter-of-factly. The Empire does not permit chaos on the borders of civilized space. Order must be maintained. Engineer Petrov quietly updated Sarah through her private communication channel. Captain, their ships are scanning us with multiple energy beams. They're analyzing our technology, our whole composition, everything. Sarah made a decision that would change the course of human history. Commander Zixtrak, humanity requires time to consider your offer. Our leaders must be consulted. Very well, you have 30 rotations to prepare your species for integration. Return to your world and inform your leaders. The Dominion fleet will arrive at your system in 30 of your days. Resistance will result in the complete elimination of your species. The alien ships began to withdraw, moving away from the pioneers. Dream with the same fluid grace they had shown in their approach. Within minutes, they had vanished into faster-than-light travel, leaving the human ship alone among the stars. Sarah collapsed into her chair, the weight of what had just occurred settling on her shoulders. Rivera set course for Earth. Maximum speed. Aye, Captain. Initiating quantum jump in 3 minutes. Dr. Webb approached Sarah's chair. Captain, did we just doom our species, or did we buy them time to prepare? Sarah looked at the stars through the main viewport. Somewhere out there, a vast alien empire was preparing to either enslave or destroy everything humanity had ever built. I don't know, Marcus. But at least we gave them a choice. The journey back to Earth took 18 days, even at maximum quantum drive speed. During that time, Sarah and her crew analyzed every second of their encounter with the Dominion Empire. They studied the alien ship designs, energy signatures, and communication patterns. Every piece of information might be crucial for Earth's survival. Dr. Webb spent hours reviewing the biological scans their sensors had managed to capture. The Dominion appears to be a confederation of multiple species, he reported during their daily briefings. I detected at least 4 different biological signatures on their ships. This isn't just one alien race, it's an entire empire built on conquest and assimilation. Engineer Petrov had been analyzing the technological data. Their power systems are at least 2 centuries ahead of ours. But there's something interesting about their ship designs. They're incredibly efficient, but also incredibly standardized. Every ship we saw was built to exact specifications, with no variations. What does that tell us? Sarah asked. It tells us they value order and conformity above innovation, Petrov replied. They might be more advanced, but they're also predictable. Lieutenant Rivera had been monitoring communication channels, preparing Earth for what was coming. Captain, I've been thinking about their 30-day ultimatum. Why give us time at all? If they're so powerful, why not just attack immediately? Sarah had been wondering the same thing. Maybe they genuinely prefer compliance over conquest. It's easier to rule willing subjects than to constantly suppress rebellions. Or maybe, Dr. Webb suggested, they've learned that some species fight harder when cornered. Giving us time to consider surrender might prevent unnecessary resistance. As Earth grew larger on their main screen, Sarah knew that her crew's analysis would be crucial in the coming weeks. Humanity was about to face its greatest challenge, and the decisions made in the next 30 days would determine whether the human species would survive as free beings or disappear entirely. The pioneers' dream entered Earth's orbit on a grey Tuesday morning. Sarah looked down at the blue and white marble that had been humanity's home for millions of years. Cities glowed like jewels on the night side of the planet, while storms swirled over vast oceans on the day side. It was beautiful, precious, and utterly defenseless against what was coming. Rivera, send our complete mission data to Earth Defense Command, the United Nations, and every major government. Priority Alpha transmission. Transmission sent. Captain. Sarah took a deep breath. Now we find out what humanity is really made of. The choice of freedom, the emergency session of the United Nations, had been called within hours of receiving Captain Chen's transmission. Representatives from every nation on Earth gathered in the assembly hall, while billions more watched the proceedings through global broadcasts. The evidence was undeniable. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe, and their new neighbors were not friendly. General Maria Santos stood at the podium, her crisp military uniform and steady voice projecting authority in a moment of unprecedented crisis. As the Supreme Commander of Earth Defense Forces, she had spent 30 years preparing for conflicts that might arise between nations. Nothing in her training had prepared her for this. Distinguished delegates, the situation is clear, General Santos began. In 27 days, an alien armada will arrive at our system. They have given us an ultimatum: submit to their empire or face complete annihilation. I have reviewed the tactical data provided by Captain Chen and her crew. The enemy possesses overwhelming technological superiority. Murmurs rippled through the assembly hall. The delegate from the Pacific Federation raised her hand. General Santos, what are our chances in a direct military confrontation? Santos looked directly at the delegate. Based on current capabilities, our chances of victory are effectively zero. Each of their ships possesses firepower equivalent to our entire global defense fleet. The delegate from the European Union stood. Then, are you recommending surrender? General Santos straightened her shoulders. I am recommending that we consider all options. Surrender would preserve human lives, but at the cost of our freedom and self-determination. Resistance might lead to our extinction, but it would also affirm our right to exist as a free species. Captain Sarah Chen sat in the observers section, having been transported immediately to Earth upon her ship's arrival. She watched the debate unfold with growing concern. Politicians were discussing humanity's future as if it were just another policy decision, weighing costs and benefits without understanding the true nature of what they faced. Dr. Kenji, Earth's leading quantum physics researcher, approached the podium when invited to speak. His wild hair and thick glasses made him look more like a stereotypical mad scientist than a man who might hold the key to humanity's survival. Honored delegates, I have spent the last 18 hours analyzing the energy signatures from the Dominion ships. While their technology is indeed superior, it operates on principles that we understand. More importantly, it has limitations that they may not realize we can exploit. Interest sparked throughout the assembly. The Secretary General leaned forward. Please explain, Dr. Nakamura. Their ships rely on quantum field manipulation for both propulsion and weapons systems. This creates a resonance pattern that can be disrupted if we know the exact frequency. Think of it like breaking a wine glass with a specific musical note. General Santos joined Dr. Nakamura at the podium. Doctor, what would we need to implement such a disruption? Time, resources, and a coordinated effort across our entire industrial base. We would need to construct quantum resonance disruptors and deploy them throughout our solar system. It's theoretically possible, but incredibly challenging. The debate continued for hours. Some delegates argued for immediate surrender, claiming that preserving human life was more important than preserving human freedom. Others demanded that humanity fight regardless of the odds, insisting that death was preferable to slavery. A few suggested attempting to negotiate with the Dominion, hoping to find a middle ground. Captain Tom Bradley of the Colonial Militia had been listening from the back of the assembly hall. As commander of the Defense Forces for Humanity's outer colonies, he represented the millions of humans who had already chosen to leave Earth in search of freedom and opportunity. When called upon to speak, his words carried the weight of the frontier. Delegates, I've spent 15 years on the outer worlds. I've seen what humans can accomplish when they're free to innovate, to take risks, to fail and try again. The colonists didn't leave Earth because they hated their home. They left because they believed in something greater than safety and comfort. They believed in the right to choose their own destiny. Bradley paused, looking around the assembly hall. The Dominion offers us safety, but at the cost of everything that makes us human. They want to turn us into another client race, following their orders, living by their rules, thinking their thoughts. That's not survival. That's extinction with a pulse. Dr. Webb, who had been observing quietly, stood to address the assembly. If I may add a scientific perspective, Captain Chen and I observed something crucial during our encounter. The Dominion values order and conformity above all else. Their entire civilization is built on the principle that there is one correct way to do everything. And, prompted the Secretary General, humans have never believed in one correct way to do anything. We're chaotic, unpredictable, and incredibly creative. We solve problems by trying dozens of different approaches until something works. The Dominion has conquered 47 species, but I would bet that none of those species were quite like us. The vote, when it finally came, was closer than many had expected. 54% of the delegates voted to resist the Dominion ultimatum. 46% voted for negotiated surrender. Humanity had chosen freedom, but it had not chosen unanimously. General Santos was placed in command of the global defense effort. Dr. Nakamura was given unlimited resources to develop quantum disruption technology. Captain Bradley was tasked with coordinating colonial defenses. Captain Chen was promoted to admiral and placed in charge of fleet operations. The next 27 days transformed human society. Factories that had produced consumer goods were converted to military production. Scientists who had been working on theoretical research shifted to practical weapons development. Children attended school in underground shelters while their parents worked 18-hour shifts preparing for war. The breakthrough came on day 23. Dr. Nakamura's team successfully tested the first quantum resonance disruptor. The device could create a localized field that interfered with Dominion technology, but only for a few minutes before burning out. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. We need hundreds of these devices positioned throughout the solar system. Dr. Nakamura explained to the Defense Council. If we can time their activation perfectly, we might be able to create windows of opportunity where our conventional weapons can be effective. Admiral Chen studied the tactical projections. It's risky. We get one chance to surprise them. After that, they'll adapt their technology to compensate for our disruption fields. Then we'd better make it count, General Santos replied. On the morning of day 30, humanity's fate was decided not by politicians or generals, but by ordinary people making extraordinary choices. Factory workers who had never seen a battlefield volunteered to operate defense platforms. Scientists who had spent their careers in laboratories became tactical advisors. Children who should have been playing in parks instead practiced emergency procedures. The Dominion fleet arrived exactly as promised, emerging from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system. 15 massive warships, each one a testament to technological supremacy and organized conquest. They moved in perfect formation toward Earth, confident in their superiority. Admiral Chen waited until the alien fleet had passed the outer planets before giving the signal. Across the solar system, quantum disruptor arrays activated simultaneously. For exactly 4 minutes and 37 seconds, Dominion technology flickered and failed. In those precious moments, humanity struck with everything they had. Ships emerged from behind asteroids and moons. Hidden weapon platforms revealed themselves. Fighters launched from concealed bases throughout the system. It wasn't elegant or organized, but it was thoroughly, uniquely human. The Battle of Seoul lasted 12 hours. Humanity lost 60% of their defense fleet and countless brave souls. But when the guns finally fell silent, 7 Dominion ships had been destroyed and the remaining 8 were retreating toward the edge of the system. Commander Zixrak's final transmission was brief and confused. This is impossible. Client races do not possess such capabilities. Your tactics make no sense. Your strategies violate military logic. Admiral Chen's response became legendary. Commander, you're absolutely right. We don't make sense. We're illogical, chaotic, and completely unpredictable. And that's exactly why we're free. The Dominion never returned to human space. Within 5 years, 3 other species that had been enslaved by the Empire successfully rebelled, using tactics learned from humanity's example. The galaxy had learned something new. Sometimes the most powerful force in the universe isn't superior technology or military might. Sometimes it's the simple refusal to kneel. Asterisk,